When we defeat the Ender Dragon, we get ourselves the End achievement. And that makes a lot of sense, right? It's the quote-unquote final boss of the game after all. It cues the end credits. You're in a place literally called the End. It's an achievement name that totally works. But for summoning the Wither, you actually get the exact opposite. The Beginning. Question mark. And then after its defeat, you get yourself the beginning again, but this time it's with a period. It's a definitive statement that
Greetings, my empire. Drazel here, back with another video, and today we finna watch Game Theory: The Lost History of Minecraft's Wither. You feel me now? Listen. So, I ain't gonna lie, it's been a while since we got in tune with the Minecraft lore. Right? It's been a little minute. I ain't forget. It's just I've been busy. You feel me? But I needed to get back in tune. Last time we watched, we found out about you know, the relationship with you know, creepers and you know, creepers, skeletons, and music discs. Basically, there's the two music things. I think it was 13, and I forget the name of the other music disc. And basically, there was a guy in the cave, and he got shot by skeletons. Then the creeper blew up, and he had to fall in water. This and that and the third. Basically, it's like an Easter egg, like just pertaining to those two discs and how there was a creeper and skeleton in those discs. That's why when a skeleton kills a creeper, the music disc drops. You feel what I'm saying? So we found out about that. Now we about to see what the Wither is about. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I feel like if you a Bedrock player, you know how the Wither get, bro. Like, I heard that the Wither in Java is easy as hell. That's an easy kill. In Bedrock, he tweak. You know what he do, bro. You get him to half health, he get a shield on him, he barely taking damage. You ever fought a Wither in a cave? That nigga mines for you. You can low-key, that's a whole nother discussion. We finna see what the Wither talk about. See Game Theory talk. Let's see what Matt Pat talking about. Before we get into it, you already know I'm going to ask you how to hit the like button, subscribe, join the empire. You already know it helps me out, helps the channel grow. I appreciate the support. And without further ado, let's get in here, bro. Let's see what it's talking about.
Here's a mini to start things off. Endermites. What are they? They're the small.
Oh, he's starting off quick. He usually got a whole entrance. You feel me? Okay, hold on.
Here's a mini theory to start things off. Endermites.
All right.
What are they? They're the smallest hostile mob in the game, and they're one of the very few creatures to possess the moniker of Ender. But to me, the weirdest detail about them is that they don't get along with the Enderman. When confronted with each other, they just attack. It's a strange.
I always thought Endermite was just like the silverfish at the end, like silverfish that's in the end, you know? I don't know.
Strange little detail to include, since so many of the other spawns in the end aren't hostile towards one another. But now, consider this. What if Endermites are actually silverfish?
I'm ahead of you! Matt Pat, I'm ahead of you! Come on, bro. I'm before his time. Man, come on. I'm a god!
Bugs that bother you up in the overworld. What if Endermites are just silverfish who went through an end portal?
That's what I've always thought Endermites was. They look like,
the proof here is actually surprisingly substantial. Cue up the checklist. Number one, both Endermites and silverfish are small. In fact, they're both so small that they'll suffocate to death in the sinking.
I already made this. Well, I ain't know this.
Only two hostile mobs where this sort of thing happens. Speaking of their size, not only are they both small, technically speaking, they're exactly the same size.
This is actually crazy.
Wikipedia, both creatures are 0.3 blocks tall and 0.4 blocks wide.
Yeah.
In fact, they're so similar that an early design of the Endermites was just that of silverfish. You can just see it right here on screen right now.
Oh, that looks way better. That looks way better. They should have just went with that.
Design was eventually changed during Java Edition 1.8, but for a while there, the two looked almost identical. Now, I know what you're thinking. That just means that they're recolored assets. It doesn't necessarily make them the same creature, but think again. To understand exactly why, we need to look at the enchantment Bane of Arthropods. If we're being honest, Bane of Arthropods is pretty lame as far as enchantments go.
If you put that on your sword, you're done.
It only works when fighting against one of 4 very specific
just
mobs
sharpness
in the game. And 2 of those mobs are spiders, so 50% are supposedly diverse creatures in this universe, and those 2 happen to be Silverfish and Endermites. Meaning that at the very least, they're in the same taxonomic.
Would it work on bees?
AP biology, what? But here's
because I know this video is before bees came out, right?
Portals that are hidden in strongholds deep underground, right? No big surprise there. But look into how strongholds are generated, and you notice something interesting. They always have to have a portal room. That makes sense, since they're the primary place that you find the portal to the end game.
That's facts.
2 features required of that
show
room,
Thanos.
obviously the portal, but also a silverfish spawner. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but this to me reads like the criminals returning to the scene of the crime. So
I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah. There's always a silverfish spawner in that portal. Wow.
why don't Endermen and Endermites get along? Well, if my last theory was correct about Endermen being an ancient race of builders, then one of their old foes would have been the Silverfish. Silverfish who are in the perfect position.
But if they built that, why would they put a spawner there?
Now, hundreds of generations and one end portal later, that battle is still being
Bro really got
new
brooms.
Names, new faces, but the same old enemies. But hey, that's just a theory. A mini theory. And I'm just getting started.
Alright. I like it.
Hello, Internet.
I mean, I was ahead of you, but
Theory, the show that I'm looking to build on another theory. One that you all seem to like. One that started us down the path towards deciphering the hidden lore of Minecraft. Because there is lore here. It's not all giant golden Wang monuments off in the distance. But unlike most other games, Minecraft's lore is told through dialogue and cutscenes. Instead, it's communicated through subtle design choices. Spawn conditions, character designs, achievement names, hostile versus friendly behavioral patterns, and all of that will be important today as we explore the secrets of the Wither. Because last time we looked at the end of the Minecraft story. Today, we're talking about how...
Bro, I remember the Wither update so clearly, bro. That was one of Minecraft's best updates ever. Like, when the Wither came out, bro, that was a lit time in Minecraft. Like, dead ass. I'd say... that goes up there in top 5 up. Actually, it's either this update or the Piglin update, which I got like it's hitting the one spot on Minecraft's best update, bro.
Began. So, in case you missed it, or just forgot, during my last major Minecraft theory, we tallied up the evidence suggesting that Endermen are actually an evolved form of an ancient race of builders. They speak English, they're able to hold rudimentary blocks, they explain why strongholds are called strongholds in the first place, and why mysterious structures like underwater monuments and old mine shafts are left abandoned, dotted around the overworld when no other living creature in this universe has neither the ability to mine nor craft.
It violated creepers.
Origins of end cities and why they contain abandoned chests full of supplies totally inappropriate for life in that hostile purple environment. There's obviously a lot more, but you should just go watch that theory if you're interested. Link is in
we already did that. We already did those. We already did those.
One key element I was speculating about in that theory was what motivated this ancient race of people to wind up in the end in the first place. They seem like they were fleeing to it, but why? Curiosity? An accident? I ultimately conclude that it was to escape something. Some big threat that existed out there in the overworld. Now, obviously, the
Wither
overworld is populated with zombies and creepers and skeletons, but that just doesn't seem like enough to warrant building out a massive underground fortress deep down near the bedrock.
Yeah.
Now, after doing the research, it's my belief that these ancient builders accidentally summoned the Wither, which proceeded then to decimate their established society, killing them off by the hundreds until they somehow managed to flee to the end and escape. Now, why would I say this? Well, first...
that makes sense. That makes sense. They would have to dip, if a nigga, you know what I'm saying? I mean, all they got, the Wither hurt, bro. But none of them, like, manned up. Was like, yo, let me put the diamond armor on, get the golden apples, let me enchant my sword, and we smoke the Wither. Y'all really had to one? Y'all not built like Steve. Y'all not built like Alex.
First and foremost, let's look at the achievement list, shall we? When we defeat the Ender Dragon, we get ourselves the End achievement. That makes a lot of sense, right? It's the quote-unquote final boss of the game, after all. It cues the end credits. You're in a place literally called the End. It's an achievement name that totally works. But for summoning the Wither, you actually get the exact opposite. The Beginning. Question mark. And then after its defeat, you get yourself the Beginning again, but this time it's with a period. It's a definitive statement that directly parallels how the Ender Dragon achievements are handled, but with one problem. The Wither can be summoned at any time, and it very often happens after the dragon has been killed. It's not the beginning of really anything in this game. I was tempted to think that maybe it's the beginning of a new adventure post-Ender Dragon, but again, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense since summoning and defeating the Wither is completely optional in the story. And even when you do it, nothing.
Well, everything is technically optional.
A Nether star, which, for as special and unique as that item is, just allows you to build a beacon that shoots lame buffs into the surrounding
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
areas.
Beacons suck. They gotta buff beacons. Minecraft needs to buff beacons.
Wither was the beginning in a different way. What if it's the beginning of the story for the ancient builders that started all this in motion in the first place? Look for a moment at the Strongholds. They're buried super deep underground, like absurdly deep, and with literally no trace of their existence on the surface. They're like bomb shelters or safety bunkers, but they're defending against what? Zombies? Creepers? I don't think so. You don't go to that extreme just to defend against a regular mob, but a fearsome creature like the Wither that spreads death and decay to anything in its sights?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially since we know that the Wither flies and also destroys any block that it touches. Your best way to avoid a creature like this is
a texture pack. That Wither looks crazy.
Far below where it can reasonably follow. Exactly what we find with the Stronghold placement. In fact, it would explain why the only remaining structures from these ancient builders on the surface of the overworld are underwater monuments, underground mine shafts, and secluded desert temples. They're the only structures that the Wither wasn't likely to touch and immediately destroy. And on that note, what's the key feature that exists inside of a stronghold? Well, it's a portal to the end. Now, we just established that the Wither can destroy almost any block that it touches. Almost any block.
Not
the operative word.
Not bedrock and I think obsidian, right?
Destroy. Those exceptions include bedrock, command blocks, extended pistons, and end portal blocks and end portal frames.
The Wither can the Wither break obsidian?
I don't know about you, but if my society is being decimated and I'm trapped in my underground bunker running away from this terrible beast that destroys everything it touches, I'm making sure that I'm building that last-ditch escape effort using supplies that are going to be Wither-proof. We also can be sure that the Wither was known by the ancient builders. If you look closely at the chiseled red sandstone that was used as decorations in ancient buildings like desert temples,
that's the Wither!
You'll notice a hieroglyphic that clearly depicts the Wither. Straight body.
Bro, I've been playing Minecraft my whole life and I haven't noticed these things.
Certainly knew that this thing existed, but how? Or maybe more importantly, why? Why would anyone intentionally try to summon this thing in the first place? Well, let's look at how it's built, shall we? The Wither requires two very interesting ingredients in order to be
soul
summoned.
sand.
The first is soul sand, found throughout the Nether. Sand that's relatively unremarkable in every way. Oh yeah, except for it being composed of the souls of the damned. It's well known at this point that if you look at the pattern on soul sand close enough, you'll notice screaming faces staring right back at you.
Yeah.
It's also why you get sucked down a bit when you're walking across it. Almost like the lost souls are pulling you down into them.
That's actually crazy.
Getting you to join them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is me talking about Minecraft. Kid-friendly, brand approved. So
Minecraft is not for no kids, bro.
Souls. Check mark there. Secondly, you need 3 withered skeleton heads. But why these particular heads and not just any skeleton head? Well, to understand that, we need to find out what makes the wither skeleton so different from its brethren. You see, wither skeletons are exclusive to Nether fortresses. This is worth noting because think about how crazy this is. We're basically in Minecraft's equivalent of HE double toothpicks, a world of ghasts and blazes.
Why is he saying it
everything
like
set on
that?
fire and nothing can
double
go. Heck,
toothpick.
most of the enemy spawns here don't even have arms, and yet somehow there are fortresses here that are being supervised by large cursed skeletons. Fortresses, mind you, that contain chests full of gold and diamonds and iron, saddles and horse armor, all materials that aren't found down in the Nether naturally.
Yeah,
Supplies
people
that
was
had to
there.
have been brought down there and left by the original people who constructed these things in the first place. The End City chests function much the same way, and once you know it, they also contain the same sorts of loot, iron and gold and diamonds and horse armor and saddles. Almost like it's the same people carrying their major supplies from place to place. So using this information, let me tell you a little story. An ancient race of builders descends into the Nether to harvest its resources. They construct fortresses down there to defend against the hostile environment and store their supplies. But over time, as is now,
I guess. I've never seen, I would never think that the Nether Fortress was actually made by like the ancient builders. But it's absolutely possible. But I guess, because, you know, fortresses have nether wart farms. What in there will want to grow nether wart? Like, and it's not placed like randomly, like, oh, those things like grow. Yeah. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Like, it's placed when you go see where the nether wart farms is, like under the stairs. It's like so clean. Yeah. I guess the ancient builders would have made it. It just, why would they make it? Shit look like the devil's castle on a shack.
Some of the ranks die. The Nether is a dangerous and violent environment after all. So they bury their dead in the ground, but they don't realize that this place works differently than the overworld they're used to. What little soft ground there is actually sucks the soul out of the dead bodies, giving rise to soul sand, and leaving these bodies as just an undead husk of what they once were. It produces a wither skeleton, an aggressive, charred group of bones that, as an undead, lives on to complete the purpose it was given when it was alive: defend its fortress. Seeing all this,
that's dark.
Start to piece together an idea. If soul sand does indeed contain lost souls and somehow gives rise to the skeletons of the dead, maybe there's a way to combine the two and bring their dead friends back to life. These builders were proud people. I mean, they were builders after all. Whatever they
niggas didn't watch Full Metal Alchemist.
Their very hands. They had conquered the earth. They had conquered the realms of heck. Now they would conquer the one thing impossible to any man: death. They would build life itself. I mean, with the raw materials, you can construct anything, right? Why not a lost human? You have the soul in the sand, you have the body in the wither skeleton. Why wouldn't it work? The last thing I'll call out here, you'll notice that none of the items in nether chests are enchanted, but by the time you get to the end, a lot of them are. The reason I call this out is that it shows an escalation in the way these ancient builders started using magic. By the time they end their journey in the end, they're full-blown magic users. They've started to go beyond just construction. They're starting to play with mystical forces. So, how does this story all work out? Well, it's a classic tale of hubris. The builders, having been to the fiery depths of heck, try to harness the ultimate resource, the power of life and death itself. They combine the soul and the body, the soul sand and the wither skeleton head, and it doesn't work. But by this point, they're obsessed. There has to be a way to make it work. Like so many other fictional characters before them, like Dr. Frankenstein, like the Elrics, they're convinced that they...
No, this can't be no... Everything I'm saying, bro, I don't even think I should even watch these videos. I think I already know everything, bro. Like, I think I could come up with these theories myself. I'm the new Matt Pat. Greetings, everyone. Wait. How is this intro? I forgot how his intro goes. Man, I don't even know. Let's just get back in the video, bro. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But bro brung up the Elric brothers.
And it doesn't work.
It's the same, bro. They don't know about equivalent exchange, bro. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? You gotta give something up. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? And what you gotta give up is something crazy to bring back a life.
By this point, They're obsessed. There has to be a way to make it work. Like so many other fictional characters before them, like Dr. Frankenstein, like the Elrics. They're convinced that they have the right ingredients, and so they start going down more supernatural paths in their quest to crack the mystery. Magic, enchantment, potions. Maybe they go to the witches, already outcasts from society for their use of soul sand to concoct awkward potions and strange brews. And that's when they stumble upon it. They finally manage to create something, but it wasn't what they expected. Instead of bringing new life to a dead friend, they create a hideous and destructive beast. One out to punish them for tampering with the laws of nature itself. They make the Wither, an unstoppable force. A beast that, as we know, destroys the blocks that it touches and curses anything that gets in its way with decay. Gone overnight are the great buildings that this ancient race once constructed. The only things that remain standing are temples far out into the deserts, mine shafts hidden deep underground, monuments under the water. Gone are all the people of this once great society, one by one consumed by the Wither, a disease literally eating them away.
It makes sense.
Friends,
it makes sense.
Dead, decayed, or worse, brought back to life in the form of skeletons and
zombies.
The living undead that roam the landscape to this day. So for their own protection, the remaining ancient people hide underground, deep underground, down near the bedrock in fortified bases called Strongholds, far below where the flying Wither will be.
Bro, this is an actual story. This is actually crazy.
Plan their escape. They've hopped to different realms before using portal technology. Why not again? But this time, the portal has to be made to be Wither-proof, which is why end portal blocks are literally the only block type outside of bedrock immune to the Wither's attacks. And from there, we know the rest. They managed to make the portal and hop to the end, but it's a one-way trip.
Wait, how did the whoa. I have my own little question. These shits look like they're made of end stone, like the stone in the end. How would they have made these portal frames? That's actually weird. I don't know if they. I feel like that's a big fault saying that they've made these, because how would they have got that material? You see, I don't know if he's gonna show it.
And from there, we know the rest. They managed to make the portal. And
see, he's in the bottom. It looks like end stone.
To the end, but it's a one-way trip.
Unless there's a place in the overworld that has end stone
behind them, and what awaits them on the other side is something else, something completely unexpected, something that may have even been worse: the Ender Dragon. But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for
that was
watching.
Good.
And hey, before you disappear off into the Nether, I need to tell you that this episode was made possible by our sponsor, Honey.
You got it. You got it. Shout out, Honey. You know what I'm saying? I remember, y'all, who Mr. Beast was pushing Honey crazy, bro. Every time you went on, he probably still like, every time you went on YouTube, you seen a Mr. Beast Honey ad, bro. Swear to God. I used Honey. Man, I ain't even gonna try to knock it. I ain't even gonna try to knock the site. But, damn. But that actually, so what he's basically saying is the Wither. They made the Wither. Wither wiped them out. Nobody could touch the Wither. He was just going crazy. They went to the Stronghold, tried to escape in the end. Got trapped in there, bro. The only way you get out the end is being the Ender Dragon. If they didn't beat the Wither, they definitely not beating. Well, in my opinion, I feel like the Wither is harder than the Ender Dragon. But I feel like from a Minecraft, like Mojang, they intended for the dragon to be stronger than the Wither. Damn, that's actually crazy. But there's a couple holes too. Like I said, the end stone being the portal frames. Where did they get that? Unless end stone can be constructed by something else, which we know it can't. There's no crafting recipe to craft end stone. I don't know. Anyway, that was a good theory. That was a good video, bro. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe, join the empire. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite part. You feel me? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Dreams Empire out. I'm gonna see y'all.
Gotta hold my ground. Smile left and I lost and found. I don't cheese, I'ma walk and frown. Hey, you up, can you hold me down? Spin it up, cause I know you round. Left on, what happens now? Been around, look what I got. Back wound and a face on clown, and it's cool. Got a pill for you if you choose to swing that move.